Well, with us right now from United is Steve Leonard, and among other things, of course, we're getting into that election time of the year. So that's on the topic agenda for you, I know, today. Good to see you, Steve.
Same here.
And of course, the budget meetings just took place as well.
Correct.
And
new rules.
Yeah, new rules. And you'll be voting on the finalized budget really at your next meeting, the
Correct.
September meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
So the bylaws passed, which we
Yes, they
know.
did.
We had a really good turnout for that.
Yes.
Fortunately.
Yeah, very good turnout.
And so we were all really pleased to get that done. That was a lot of work by Juanita and Maggie and myself and the advisors. We do have the election coming up now for the 4 seats that are coming up.
Right.
Juanita Skillman and Cash.
Yes, and you know what?
Ekacar.
I had a sheet and I left it in my office, and
It's
I know
okay.
you.
I have some.
Yeah, you have some.
So,
So I apologize. I
that's
meant to
okay.
bring it out for you.
Juanita and Cash, who are on the board presently, will be running as incumbents.
Right. Then there's Manny,
Then there's Manny, and I forget his last name, which is
and the other person is I think
Riza,
Riza, yes.
Bastani, and
Yes.
Riza is currently an advisor on the Architectural Standards Committee.
Okay, so you know. Okay,
so
great.
we know him well, and Manny has a very good background in accounting and finance.
Okay.
And he had previously run for VMS representative for United.
Oh, he did.
Right.
Okay.
But
All right.
that didn't pan out last time, but now he's running for the board.
And I know we're going to mention too that there are 4 spots available and 4 candidates running.
Correct.
However, because of Davis Sterling, you have to go through the whole election process.
Right.
Yes.
So we have to compile the ballots and mail them out and have people return them and
Right.
count them. And so there is that expense, which is, it's the law. So
Yes, it
is
is.
what it is.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention that the Meet the Candidates program is going to air on Tuesday, August 29th at 10 o'clock live. And then it'll be rebroadcast 6 p.m. that evening.
Okay.
And Thursday the 31st, and September 6th, and September 23rd. So people have plenty of opportunities, and they will also be able to attend, I believe, the Meet the Candidates meeting as well.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
because it's
yeah.
down in the.
So much for elections.
Yeah.
Other interesting aspects are budget. We've gone through the second preliminary meeting now on the budget. And basically, we're facing about $5 million worth of increases. 2 million of that is about wages. About $1 million is FICA and the other ancillary
Right.
costs associated. And then there's about another $2 million involved for outside contracting.
Okay.
Sidewalk repairs, some of that work that we don't do in-house at
Right.
VMS, it'll go out. So we're still working on going through the final budget, but it looks like between United and GRF, we're probably going to be looking at about $11 or $12 per month increase per month, manner per
Okay.
month. And that's what it looks like now for us. So we'll be getting through that pretty soon. Other issues within the community, we've got a bunch of new rules. So short-term rentals had become a problem, particularly with Airbnb and some of those really, really short-term overnight
Right.
rentals. So our new rental period is now a minimum of 90 days.
Okay. And
So-
before that, it was 30 days?
I believe it was 30.
Okay.
At some point it was 60, at some point it was 30, but now we've got it set at 90 days. And the maximum period is 1 year.
Okay.
Of course, renewals are available, right? But at a minimum 90 days and a maximum of 1 year.
Okay.
So that's gone into place. The VMS staff is monitoring the Airbnb sites and some of these other places. And if people get caught, the fines can be up to $500 per incident.
Okay.
So compliance is getting very busy with this now. And as Brad Hudson has mentioned, we've seen quite an increase in compliance cases this year, and we expect probably about another 50% next year as well.
Okay, let me ask you along those lines, if people do want to rent out their manors,
Right.
90 days or more,
Right.
where can they advertise? Can they advertise, because there are these different rental sites, vacation rental sites or something like that.
Right.
Is that okay as long as they specify these are 3-month or 90 days
Right.
or more time
Yes.
period?
The advertising, my understanding is you can advertise wherever you care to,
Right.
but you must specify that it's a minimum of 90 days.
Okay.
So, for example, if you took an advertisement in the Globe, you can't say unit available monthly,
Okay.
right? So you'd have to say 90 days beginning whatever the period
Okay.
is that you're looking at.
All right.
Co-occupants, that's another area that's been an issue. And just to reiterate for everyone out there that if you you can rent out your entire manor as a sublease, but you may not rent a room for money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something else that a lot of people have not been aware of, and they just assume, and they can get themselves into some problems here.
Okay.
So the tenant-landlord relationship is between United Cooperative and the tenant under the occupancy agreement.
Okay.
And if you choose to sublease, you must sublease the entire manor,
Okay.
not particular rooms.
Okay.
Right. What else did I want to touch on here? Maintenance and construction. I think we're allocating $1.5 million next year to waistline remediation, which is
That's right.
a huge expense.
Yes, it is.
And it's an ongoing process where we find them. The copper pipe relining for the water within
Right.
the units, we take those on as they come up, as a leak springs, more or less. We've done a lot of research into the leaks, the different kinds of manors, where they've come up from time to time, and there's no empirical evidence of saying it's in these type of buildings more than these type
So
of
it's hard,
buildings.
you can't really pinpoint it. Yes.
Right, so we're just taking that as
Okay,
a
but there is some ongoing waistline, regardless if
The
they
waistline
have
is the sewer.
Right.
And the copper pipes are
Right, so the waistline is something you are going through, and I understand it could take
It's
quite a long time.
going to
years.
take quite a long time because of the
Right.
expense.
Yeah.
I mean, in $1.5 million, I can't remember the exact amount, but I think it can be as high as $30,000 or $40,000 for the waistline.
Wow.
So you talk about all the buildings that we have.
Yeah.
And that's a tremendous amount of money.
Yeah, it is.
Which is another reason that the dues increase
Mm-hmm.
that we'll probably see this year, which I believe is the first one in over 3 years.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, personally, I think it would be better to have a small increase every year of $2 or $3.
Right.
So that people can anticipate that and budget for it. But previous boards have decided not to do that, so now this year,
Okay,
we
and I know
budget
sometimes
well.
in the past, there have been as high as $25 or more.
Right.
I know that's happened, so.
So,
Yeah.
and we are an older community now, and we do have things that need repair.
Yeah.
So as that goes, other things I wanted to touch on briefly was the new fine schedule if you book an appointment for resident
Right.
services, for a plumber, electrician, whatever the case may be. If you're not present for the call, you will be billed
Yeah.
for a missed call. So staff will now have cell phones in the field. So if you have an emergency pop up 20, 30 minutes before your appointment, if you call resident services and say, something's come up, I have to cancel this appointment or reschedule,
Right.
please do so.
Yeah, very important.
Because then resident services can get a hold of the people in the field and say, skip this one, go to the next one a little bit early.
Right, and I know that you folks have talked about that sometimes something comes up that is unforeseen, and if you do get a fine, you can certainly go ahead and talk about that and see if you can get that reversed. And
Right.
there are we all know that
And every resident,
somebody can wake up in the morning and turn around and figure,
the cat,
you know what?
a cough,
Yeah,
something.
I have an
Yeah.
emergency dental thing
Flat
going
tire.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And residents always have an appeal process whenever there is a fine.
Right.
So
Exactly.
that
Yes.
procedure will stick here as well. Andre Torn
Mm-hmm.
is in charge of our disaster preparedness committee.
Yes, he is.
And
yeah.
he's still looking for building captains.
Okay.
We need about 400 people, and each one of those people would be responsible for about 16
Okay.
buildings.
All right. So that's a
So,
lot.
Yeah, it is, but we need people, so if you're so inclined, please get a hold of Andre, and I can actually give you a phone number for that. His phone number direct is 949-331-3801.
Okay.
So if you're interested, please contact Andre.
Okay. And you can always go to the Disaster Preparedness
Preparedness
Task Force
office.
downstairs. And if you forget that number, just say, I would like to be a building captain, and they'll get the process
They'll
started
get
for you.
everybody connected.
Yeah.
Landscape. A lot of people are still unaware that they're not supposed to do anything anywhere because we have staff to do that.
Right.
Although we do have a yellow stake program, which a resident applies for and says, I would like to take care of this little area here, and I would like to plant these things. And similar to an alteration process, that can
Right.
be approved, and if it is, then it is completely the resident's responsibility, and staff will not touch it.
Okay.
I also understand that from Maggie's last conversation that they're starting a red stake program
Yes.
because some people have concerns for health reasons about the use of Roundup around their manors.
Yeah, and that is something that they can apply for.
So
yeah.
they can contact Landscape and say that they would like to get more information about red stakes so that Roundup will not be used
Okay.
immediately around their manors. So I thought that would be something important
Yeah,
to just
that-
mention.
I think that's a very good
today
point,
as
yeah.
well. And I think that pretty much covers everything that's going on. We will have a M&C meeting coming up soon,
Okay.
and which is, we do them now every other month. So to try to give staff enough time to get the projects continuing
Yeah.
going rather than interrupting them, and staff officers' time, is very valuable, so.
And, again, with the elections coming up, although it's 4 for 4, the Meet the Candidates meeting for both 3rd and United, I have to say for 3rd, it's the same thing, 4 for 4. But it gives you a chance to get to know the candidates, and especially there's going to be 2 brand new folks coming onto the United board. And that's what this time around, that's what the Meet the Candidates is really going to be about, more about the introduction of these folks. And even though it is 4 for 4, the process will still go forward because it's part of the Davis-Sterling Act, if
Yes.
I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Yeah, so
Ballots are required.
ballots are required. Yes, that's for sure. And you can, if you want, you can write in somebody. So that's one of the reasons the ballots are required.
Correct.
You got to go through that process.
Yes.
Good to see you.
Ken, always a
Thank you
pleasure.
very much.
Thank you.
And a lot of stuff going on. Remember, alterations, if you're doing something, go through the right process. And as Steve said, the yellow stake program and the red stake program, if you feel that you don't want the chemical sprays from Roundup or whatever else they use around your manor, you can apply for that, right?
Correct.
All right, very good.
Great.
Nice to see you.
Have a
And
great
be right-
weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Right here.